Just like the title says, I'll be honest, Windlands 2 should have been better off staying on Steam. This 6-year-old title really isn't worth your time, but let me explain why. Windlands 2 is an exhilarating VR adventure that propels you into a sprawling, fantastical world brimming with mystery and excitement. Imagine Spider-Man meets Zelda as you swing through lush environments with your trusty grappling hooks, solving puzzles and battling menacing titans. The game's vibrant art style and immersive mechanics draws you into a land where exploration and discovery are key, all while keeping your heart pounding with its fast-paced aerial acrobatics. Whether you're uncovering hidden secrets or engaging in intense combat, Windlands 2 offers a unique blend of serene exploration and adrenaline-fueled action that promises to captivate and challenge VR enthusiasts. Well, at least that's what you think. Despite the promising premise and flashy descriptions, my experience with Windlands 2 left much to be desired. At first glance, the game's vibrant visuals and the idea of swinging through an expansive world sounded like a VR dream come true. However, several core issues quickly became apparent. Before we dive into the video, here's a bit about me. I work at a first-person shooter studio here in the UK and have been gaming for at least 2 hours a day for most of my life. Now in my 30s, I've gathered extensive experience and insights into what makes a game enjoyable. When it comes to the game recommendations, you're in good hands. If you appreciate my perspective and are looking for a reliable gaming content creator, considering subscribing to my channel. My first major gripe with Windlands 2 is the swinging mechanic. I genuinely expected to grapple onto trees and experience a more natural curved swing akin to Tarzan on a vine. Instead, the grapple just pulls you directly to the targeted location, which completely disrupts the flow of movement. While pulling yourself forward on a straight line path felt exhilarating, any deviation made it extremely difficult to correct your course. This often resulted in missed targets and frequent respawns, turning what should have been a fluid, enjoyable experience into a frustrating ordeal. My second major issue was the frustratingly short grapple length. Time and again, I found myself staring at a tantalizingly close tree only to realize they were just out of reach. This wasn't an occasional mishap either, it felt like a constant obstacle. The trees were clearly placed to be part of the gameplay, yet were often too far away to be useful. If your swinging wasn't perfectly aligned with the developer's intended path, you were destined to plummet repeatedly. This design choice turned exploration into a tedious chore rather than enjoyable adventure. Another major complaint regarding the swinging mechanic is the inability to ascend vertically. If you need to simply go up, you're out of luck. When you grapple onto a tree, you end up stuck at the bottom, unable to propel yourself upward. Unlike games like Skyclimb, where you can thrust your hand down to vault into the air, Windlands 2 offers no such feature. Instead, you have to backtrack and repeatedly attempt to gain the right momentum to ascend. This cumbersome process quickly turns from frustrating to downright unenjoyable, stripping away any potential fun from the game's core mechanic. So, swinging was a bit of a hit or miss, but perhaps the game could redeem itself with its shooting and combat mechanics, right? Unfortunately not. The bow and arrow aiming is abysmal. Switching from grapples to the bow was manageable while standing still, but shooting while swinging was a different story. The aiming system is also terrible. It lacks the full arc of the arrow's trajectory and instead uses a wobbly circle that makes it nearly impossible to aim accurately. Often when I tried to draw the bow with my right hand, it would face the wrong direction, especially while swinging. This clumsy mechanic meant that I also then couldn't grab onto any trees in time and inevitably fell to my death repeatedly. In hindsight, if the shooter mechanics were designed more like a handheld shooter, allowing you to grapple with one hand and shoot with the other, it could have been a lot more enjoyable. Unfortunately, having to use both hands for shooting made the experience feel incredibly clunky. Coupled with the constant frustration of falling to my death, trying to shoot targets only added to the chaos. This flawed mechanic created a poor gameplay loop, where instead of feeling empowered and agile, I was left grappling with frustration and disappointment. Look, at the end of the day, if the narrative and progression system were also compelling, they might have salvaged some enjoyment and given the game a quirky indie charm. Unfortunately, the storyline was just as lackluster as the mechanics. It boiled down to a monotonous routine: swing here for 1,000 meters, shoot this, then swing back and shoot that. It quickly became boring. 6 years ago, this type of game might have been groundbreaking in virtual reality. However, in today's landscape of complex and engaging VR titles, Windlands 2 falls woefully short on the PSVR 2. For these reasons, I cannot recommend it to any PlayStation users. It's simply not worth the money. You'd be better off investing in something more polished and engaging VR experience. As always with my verdicts though, I weigh my recommendations by considering the cost of the game against the hours of entertainment it provides and its overall quality. Wildlands 2 is priced at £24.99 here in the UK, and considering I couldn't even try to finish the game because of how bored I was, for a midweight pricing bracket, it's a bit of a high one for my liking. While swinging and feeling like Spider-Man for a second was fun, the honeymoon period quickly disappeared. Considering all these factors, I'm giving Wildlands 2 a nerd rating of 1 out of 5. If you have any questions about the game or my review, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Until we meet again, this is the Gaming Nerd, signing off.